Looking at his video from earlier today of the snow falling on Wells Street. So, Lindsay, how long is this going to keep up?
Patrick, we have a couple more hours that we're going to be dealing with this snow. Now, I know as you look at the radar here, you're seeing quite a bit. You might think, oh my goodness, that's a lot heading our way. There is dry air behind this system that's really starting to kind of eat away at some of that snow. And you're kind of seeing it here. It's getting more patchy just to the northwest of Madison. So while we still do have a few more hours of snow showers, which may make, slick spots out on the roads, it may reduce visibility, and it may even accumulate on the sides of the streets, it shouldn't be a very large impact. But again, next couple of hours, at least till 9-10 o'clock, I believe. So again, as you're out on the roads, just take it easy. I know that a lot of the snow is melting as it does reach the roads because of the fact that we were so warm. But noticing here, some of the grassy areas will still have a little bit of accumulation. But Patrick, we're done here in just a few hours.
All right, let's take a quick look at the roads right now and show you what it looks like from the DOT traffic cameras as they cycle through. You can see the roads are wet right now. Traffic is moving right along. We also want to show you our traffic computer. This is a good sign. We have green across the board, which means we have no major incidents. A little sliver of orange right there on I-94 eastbound. It's a 13-minute drive on 94 eastbound from Moreland into downtown right now. The government shutdown is forcing some local military families to make tough financial decisions. 12 News' Derek Rose is live at Milwaukee's Coast Guard Station, a military branch that some families say is often forgotten, Derek.
Yeah, Patrick, and the Coast Guard is the only branch of the military that is not under the Department of Defense. Those DOD service members, they're actually getting paid. But look at the sign here, the Coast Guard, it's actually under the Department of Homeland Security. And so 42,000 families are still waiting on that next paycheck.
E-R-I-C-A.
Okay.
Sylvina, S-I-L.
Friends, mothers, Coast Guard wives. The connection between Erica Cortez and Sylvina Trahan is one which magnifies a common concern, the paycheck that never came on Friday.
Oh, it's really not there. I mean, that was like a nice reality check this morning.
Reality is, unlike previous shutdowns, the Coast Guard is the one military branch not getting paid. And with the transfer ahead in just 5 months, Cortez may have to put finishing grad school on hold.
This was just totally unexpected. We're kind of second guessing everything that we spent money on. We're looking at the budget to see where we can cut back.
The last paycheck we got, we've pretty much been saving that because, we weren't sure about this one.
For some families, the uncertainty is extreme.
Families are returning Christmas presents and saving stuff, and I can't imagine taking my daughter's Christmas presents away.
It's why Cortez wrote a heartfelt message on Facebook.
I just wanted someone to know that there is a local military community here in Milwaukee who are being affected by this shutdown.
And wants others to join a petition to get the Coast Guard paid.
We are part of the community in which we live and our spouses serve. We don't want to be overlooked or forgotten. Respectfully, a proud military Coast Guard wife.
And these military wives say they don't want to get into the political back and forth and blame game, if you will. They say their husbands are still out there and doing their jobs for the Coast Guard. They just want lawmakers to take care of the Coast Guard the same way they did with the other branches of the military and fast, Patrick.
It's a tough situation. Derek, is there any assistance for these families?
Well, yeah, Patrick, the Coast Guard actually posted this letter yesterday to organizations that have military members, Coast Guard members specifically, as clients. And they say they're asking those organizations to have some understanding and flexibility with these Coast Guard families. Trahan, who you heard from in that piece, she says her bank is offering families of Coast Guard members a loan with a very low interest rate, as she calls it. Patrick.
Derek was reporting live in Milwaukee tonight. This Milwaukee police body cam footage shows the moments after a police officer shot a man. The shooting happened in November. Milwaukee police released edited footage this week. Jamie Alexander is the man in the video, shot by an officer near 35th and Clark. 12 News tracked down Alexander, who tells us he should not have been shot. According to the criminal complaint, police first got a call about a man with a gun. Officers chased Alexander by foot and fired 3 shots. 2 of those shots hit him. Alexander says he saw an armed man fighting his own sister, and then they fought on the porch. He says police could have handled the situation differently.
He could have just tased me. I didn't have a weapon in my hand. I wasn't aggressive. I didn't point nothing at him. And the gun was gone by the time I came from under the porch.
Alexander says the body camera should have recorded the actual shooting, not just the aftermath. Milwaukee police responded to that, saying due to officer safety concerns and how quickly the situation developed, the camera was not activated immediately. A 75-year-old man remains in the Milwaukee County Jail 2 days after shooting and killing a woman on his porch. Henry Bell claims 32-year-old Shanika Goldsmith tried to rob him. Goldsmith died in the shooting. Today, we learned Goldsmith spent a considerable amount of time at the Milwaukee County Jail. According to the court record for a 2017 theft conviction, Goldsmith had a drug problem and was ordered to have no association with drug users, drug dealers, drug houses, or drug dealings. We heard from Bell's 95-year-old mother last night, who told us she gave Bell her gun to protect himself, and he fired 3 times.
They had no right to come up on my porch and swinging onto him, his coats and stuff, and trying to take his money away from him.
Bell has not been charged. His sister tells 12 News they're expecting him to be released sometime tonight as the district attorney's office decides whether the shooting was justified. Marquette University says it has fired one of its professors after an investigation. Marquette tells us in a statement that Paul Secunda has been removed from his duties, including teaching, as a result of this investigation. We don't know what that investigation entails, just that it started last May. Secunda was a law professor specializing in labor law. Their statement also says, quote, Marquette will not comment further on the issue at this time, end quote. Milwaukee police are investigating theft allegations involving a local dance team. Officers want the bank records of a dance coach to figure out if she pocketed money meant for a team trip. Parents tell 12 News they gave more than $6,000 to the coach, which they thought would cover uniforms, travel, and housing. When they got to their Airbnb, they say there was no record of it being booked. 12 News is not naming the coach because she has not been charged with a crime. She has not answered our questions about the investigation.
Cantor giving the fisheye, and now
when's the league going to
head to head, forehead to forehead.
That's Giannis Antetokounmpo facing off with the Knicks' Enes Kanter last night. It happened after Thon Maker got Kanter in the eye. Kanter then took it up a notch with a forearm to Giannis's head. The referees gave both technical fouls, but ejected Kanter after he got a second. Here's Kanter walking off the court. Kanter gave the fans at Fiserv Forum a salute. He's holding up his pointer finger, not middle finger. Kanter claims he didn't know he was ejected until after the game.
Did I get second technical? I got ejected? Whoa, doing what? I got ejected, really? Doing what? Well, I mean, I guess we gotta respect the refs, but whoa, okay. I got ejected. I mean, I was getting my eyes stitched, so got ejected. Cool.
Giannis tells ESPN, quote, I just do not like when dirty plays happen that risk my health or my teammates' health. I don't like that, end quote. Democratic Governor-elect Tony Evers announced more cabinet appointments today. Retired U.S. Navy Captain Mary Kohler will serve as the new State Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary. Kathy Blumenfeld, a vice president of a Madison-based benefits administration company, will serve as Department of Financial Institutions Secretary. And Brian Pankey, an assistant state school superintendent, will be the state budget director.
Lieutenant Governor-elect Barnes and I are just extraordinarily pleased and proud to have selected these 3 individuals. They're going to be great leaders in our state government.
The governor-elect appointed his first cabinet members last week. They include Craig Thompson as Transportation Secretary, Preston Cole as Department of Natural Resources Secretary, and Kevin Carr as Department of Corrections Secretary. Coming up this Sunday and up front, jobs, business, and the economy on the last show of the year. 2 Wisconsin business leaders stop by and talk about what they expect from the incoming governor.
What would be your advice to Governor-elect Evers?
Don't screw it up. From my perspective, the Wisconsin economy is doing well. It's humming along reasonably well. We have a lot of momentum across the state in this economy. The fact that we're at effectively no unemployment, I think, is a sign of the strength of that economy, and just not to screw that up.
More from this interview coming up on Up Front at 9 a.m. Sunday right here on WISN 12. And looking ahead, New Year's Eve is just days away, and there is a free way you can get to the party and home safe in Milwaukee County. Free rides are once again being offered for partygoers starting New Year's Eve. The Miller Lite free rides will be available on all MCTS bus routes Monday night starting at 8 o'clock until the end of regular service. Officials say they just want people to celebrate responsibly.
People are appreciative of a free ride. It's an easy way to get to and from everywhere they're going, so they hop on, hop off, it's all good.
Several routes, including the Green Line and Blue Line, will have extended service until 4 in the morning New Year's Day. Milwaukee favorites, the Guffs, are celebrating their 30th anniversary with 2 shows at the Pabst Theater this weekend.
And I know you'll see right through. In a place I've never been.
The band stopped by 12 News at 11 to perform and talk about what it's like being a Milwaukee staple.
It's crazy to think about it. You know, we started this at UWM 30 years ago, and it's amazing how time flies.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful ride. I'm playing music with my best friends, and I think Guffs fans are the most wonderful people out there.
The shows are Saturday and Sunday at the Pabst Theater. Brian Vander Ark from the Verve Pipe is the opener. The show starts at 7 o'clock both nights. Coming up all new tonight at 10, a Franklin man charged with impersonating an officer. Why he's accused of even trying to pat down a woman at a local Walgreens. Then, could the health of your dog affect your own health? How researchers say your pet could be making the medicine you take less effective. That's coming up tonight at 10. 1,000 brightly colored Post-it notes with inspiring messages are scattered all over Milwaukee. 12 News' Sheldon Dutez tracked down who's behind it.
And you let me know, sir, if I'm moving way too fast.
It's after 3 a.m. in downtown Milwaukee, and Austin Green isn't showing any signs of slowing down.
Hey, we spreading love. We got work to do. You got Post-it notes.
Green wrote words of encouragement on these brightly colored Post-its.
You are loved, you are appreciated, you are valued this holiday season, and be strong in 2019.
It's a mission he's sticking to.
I always promised myself that every single holiday I would try to make it some way not about me, but about the city of Milwaukee, and that's what this is about this holiday season.
And he's spreading plenty of holiday inspiration.
Oh, at least 1,000, 1,000 plus for sure.
Despite the colorful contrast on this gray, blustery day, people pass them by.
Oh, I don't even know. I ain't read it all the way.
But the beauty of these messages was in the eye of the beholder.
It said, limit your always and something else.
And what did you feel? What did it make you feel when you read that note?
It actually made us feel pretty happy. It's helped us boost our day because it's a cold, wet, rainy day.
The full message reads, limit your always and your nevers. But it's this message on the other signal that will probably resonate with more people. It reads, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will.
I know the people here in Wisconsin, they work hard, and sometimes it's not always recognized. So if I can do this and spread the love and positivity and recognize people at the same time, then it's all win.
In downtown Milwaukee, Sheldon Dutez, WISN 12 News.
A man with a message on the move. Well, still ahead, we're keeping an eye on the snow and wet roads. Lindsay joins us in the Weather Center. So how's it looking right now, Lindsay?
Well, Patrick, the snow does continue, but it does melt on contact. When the snow stops and how far the temperatures are going to fall, that's ahead.
A look back for our Made in Wisconsin. Harley-Davidson celebrated its 115th anniversary this year. We take you to Menominee Falls, where the company makes the powertrain on many of its iconic bikes. Plus, an annual holiday fundraiser in West Dallas hits a big fundraising goal. How much money they raised this year. Earlier this summer, Harley-Davidson celebrated its 115th anniversary in southeast Wisconsin. In tonight's Made in Wisconsin, Melinda Davenport takes us inside the company behind one of the biggest parties of 2018.
Making the main part of the Harley-Davidson motorcycle that makes it operate. In this Made in Wisconsin, we are here in the plant in Menominee Falls making the powertrain for so many of those famous iconic bikes.
The roar of the engine in a Harley is a sound that millions can recognize in an instant.
How long does it actually take to make one of these powertrains?
Well, we actually have about 7 hours of labor in each powertrain.
Wow. These skilled technicians put together 2 powertrains for Harley.
How do you put together a powertrain?
We have a very complex assembly line here.
The Milwaukee 8, a large engine for touring motorcycles, and the middleweight engine for the Sportster motorcycle.
We will produce over 220,000 powertrains this year to supply to our assembly plants.
And workers say they're proud to make them right here.
Our employees are, again, very skilled, but also very passionate about what they do. There's a lot of pride here in this factory.
Making that iconic roar one of Milwaukee's most iconic companies. In Menominee Falls, Melinda Davenport, WISN 12 News.
Before 2018 comes to an end, we have an encore presentation of our season to celebrate. The music and fun will air again before New Year's Eve. Watch our holiday special Season to Celebrate Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock right here only on WISN 12. Okay, let's talk about the weather once again because we had warmer temperatures earlier today. That's actually helping to keep the snow from accumulating out there tonight.
And then that's a good thing too. And it might give people a little bit of a false sense of security. It's still going to make things slick out there. But yeah, I think that the warmer temps from earlier definitely are helping. I think a lot of people are excited about that.
Just take it easy on the roads.
Exactly. So here's your timeline. Now until 9 p.m., I'm still expecting these snow showers to continue. You're going to look at the radar and it's going to look really scary. You might be like, wow, we're going to get a lot more snow than what they're talking about. There's some dry air on the back end of this system. And this is what always happens. And it's kind of eating away at some of that snow. So by the time we do get this big old area of snow, it's not going to be as much as you think. So the good news is, like I mentioned, because we were warmer earlier, we're not really seeing a lot in the way of accumulation. The snow will taper off here as we head into the overnight hours. Could get some potential fog developing. I'm keeping an eye on that leading into early Saturday morning, but this will cause obviously some slippery stretches out there. And again, overall, I'm expecting less than 1 inch of accumulation. You might be noticing this is kind of that heavy, wet concrete type of snow. You shouldn't have to shovel it or anything, so that is good news, but it is accumulating here on the sides of the streets and the freeway, so watch those shoulders. If you do have to pull over again, that's going to be some of the slippery spots, and also the on-ramps, off-ramps, bridges, overpasses. But road temperatures are still above freezing for basically everybody out here. We're at the 40s here in Milwaukee and Racine County, and then Washington and Sheboygan counties still in the mid-30s as far as the road temperatures go. Losing a little bit of visibility right now near Milwaukee and also into Waukesha County. So keep that in mind as you're traveling this evening. The winds are starting to die down, so that's good as well. They're now shifting out of the north, and again, that's going to help to dry out some of that air. You can see it kind of blowing here at our Discovery World camera. Again, watch those side streets and areas that are lesser traveled, and you can see this entire system right here. So this right here is all we have left to go through. This is the cold front. The next weather system doesn't arrive until Monday or Sunday night, leading into Monday. Right now it's crashing ashore in the Pacific Northwest. So we're looking good at the moment. We still just have this little bit of snow to get through. And again, it looks like a lot here on the radar, but it is going to taper off pretty quickly here in the next few hours. And then that's it. We're done. We may even get a couple peaks of sunshine tomorrow, but it's going to feel a whole lot different. That high temperature of 29. From the 50 we had earlier today. That's going to hurt a little bit. Sunday and Monday, we're in the upper 30s, and then we tank as we head into the new year. I'm talking temperatures on Wednesday in the upper teens for highs. So the New Year's system, again, that's going to be arriving overnight Sunday leading into Monday. Depending on how far that area of low pressure shifts to the north, we may get a bit of a rain-snow mix, maybe a wintry mix, and then snow leading into that new year. So keep an eye on that system for you. We'll be watching it. Just make sure you stay tuned to all the latest updates. So again, as you can see, after the New Year's system, temperatures drop to the teens for highs. And Patrick, this actually does mean negative wind chills, not single digit, negative wind chills, like Wednesday morning, Thursday morning.
It doesn't stop with the teens. How about that, Stephen? I know we're over here like, great, teens. It sounds like fun.
I know.
And it'll be even colder. All right,
But it'll be
you're
sunny.
just the messenger. It'll be sunny. Here's the plus side to all this. All right, thanks, Lizzie. Well, Stephen is here with sports right now. We know the Packers have dealt with injuries all season, but there is some good news for the final game of the year.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of their skill players will be available for the season finale coming up. Aaron Rodgers wonders what could have been if he had his weapons all season. And the Bucs in the middle of a home stretch, why Malcolm Brogdon believes this team is one of the great ones. That's next in sports.
Big 12 Sports, presented by Menards.
This Sunday would mark just the 7th time in 16 games that Randall Cobb and Davante Adams line up as starting wideouts together. Adams has played in every game, and he plans to play through a knee injury with a pair of team receiving records on the line. Injuries have limited Cobb, but he has been cleared in the concussion protocol. There's a chance Sunday could be his final game as a Packer. Regardless of the outcome against the Lions, the players will exit Lambeau wondering what could have been after Super Bowl or bust expectations in August.
Anybody who would say that they don't think about that is probably either lying or they're too cliche-ridden in their interviews. So, of course, yeah, you definitely think about what could have been had you played better or had, things gone differently in certain games. But not a whole lot gets accomplished with that. But, of course, I mean, human nature and competitive nature is, you go through that, you go crazy thinking about that stuff.
Last night, the Badgers improved to 4-0 under Paul Chryst in bowl games. Jonathan Taylor became the third Badger to rush for more than 2,000 yards in a season. The nation's top running back wanted to get this win for the seniors.
Especially coming off that last loss to Minnesota, you couldn't bear to look at the seniors' faces after that game. So it was only right that we had to send the seniors off with a taste in their mouth that they could live with.
The Bucs continue their 7-game homestand tomorrow night against the Nets. Only one team during this stretch of home games is above 500, the Toronto Raptors. The Bucs are 10-4 against teams that are below 500, and they know they need to take advantage of an easier schedule now to pad the resume.
These are the games I think separates a good team from a great team. And this year I think we have the ability, and right now we're one of the great teams in the NBA. We pride ourselves on being excellent, and thus far we have been excellent. We still have a ways to go. We still need to and have to improve, but thus far we've been very good.
And Marquette wraps up their non-conference schedule tonight. They host Southern at 7 o'clock. They're undefeated at 5-serve this year.
Pretty impressive. Yeah. All right. Well, tonight the totals are in for Candy Cane Lane in West Dallas. The holiday fundraiser raised $120,000 this year for the MAC Fund's fight against childhood cancer and related blood disorders. Donations were made by visitors passing through the West Dallas neighborhood, which transforms into a winter wonderland every year. The tradition dates back to 1984. It's always fun to cruise through there and check out the lights and decorations.
It's so pretty, and I know that a lot of people enjoy the snow falling. It is pretty, and this is the kind of snow that's honestly okay. A lot of it's melting on contact, but we could have some slippery stretches on the roads. Keep that in mind. This will continue for a few hours.
And we'll be watching it throughout the night. We'll have more coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then.